Hi, I'm Ron Dupler, the CEO of GreenPages-LogicsOne, and in this session I want to talk about the market transformation that's underway right now from the first wave of virtualization to the second wave of virtualization. It's a really exciting time, and the difference between those two waves is really important in terms of the customer value proposition, the technologies involved, and the strategy from one of our key technology partners, VMware. The first wave of virtualization was really characterized by server consolidation based on VMware's vSphere technologies. And some of the characteristics of that first wave, first and most importantly, is the ROI for clients was extremely compelling during that wave, as we saw, server farms of 400, 500, or 1,000 servers consolidate down in 10-to-1 ratios to server farms of 40, 50, or 100 servers. We saw tremendous benefits in terms of savings, energy savings from powering those servers and then cooling down the environments. And as that first wave of virtualization continued, and we abstracted workloads from the bare metal on the server, we saw some interesting things begin to occur, like vMotion, business continuity, high availability, SRM, etc. So we saw a tremendous market transformation, tremendous adoption over a 5 to 7 year period, and really we saw VMware become the clear market leader in that space, serving 100% of the Fortune 100 companies over that period, and by far over any of the other competing technologies, VMware held a very dominant market position. We now have moved, to a point where right now about 60 to 70% of x86 workloads are virtualized. We also see workloads that have traditionally run on non-x86 platforms moving on x86 platforms because of the price performance and efficiencies, and now we're moving into a phase of the market where that customers are trying to virtualize tier 1 applications. That work is more complicated, it's a little bit slower going, and I think right now thought leaders believe over the coming years we'll move from 60 to 70% of workloads being virtualized up into the 90% range. And really what we've seen is that first wave of virtualization, which has been, market growth in that area has been up and to the right for the last several years. We see that market still growing, but that first wave beginning to slow as the market matures. We're now moving to the second wave of virtualization. The second wave is every bit, and I would argue even more important than the first wave of virtualization. The second wave now is really characterized by some brand new concepts and technologies. So first and most importantly, right now we see this move toward hybrid cloud computing architectures. And to build out a hybrid cloud computing environment, people talk about all sorts of inhibitors to adopting public cloud computing platforms into corporate IT environments. And there are certainly challenges regarding security, compliance, etc. But the biggest issue is how you're going to manage in a hybrid cloud world. So when we look at the second wave, one of the first and most important components of that second wave is cloud infrastructure management and really building mature platforms that allow customers to provide self-service, automation, and orchestration of their virtualized environments. That's a huge part of the second wave. We also now see new technologies from VMware and others really looking and saying the virtualization and what we did for the compute layer, there's every bit as large an opportunity to really take that forward and virtualize the network layer and also the storage layer. And once we've done that, we've really have the ability to create a completely abstracted data center that is mobile and can move seamlessly between private cloud computing platforms and public cloud computing platforms, and this really is what's driving the concept of software-defined data center. The other core technology that's important in this second wave becomes the infrastructure as a service platform and software as a service platforms that really now are coming into mainstream usage within corporate America. So ultimately the second wave is characterized by cloud infrastructure management, network virtualization, storage virtualization, hybrid cloud computing platforms, and this is where things get interesting. For VMware, and us as a key VMware partner, when we look at the market ahead in the second wave, there's effective competition in each of these areas. That's very different than the first wave of virtualization. So there's effective competition in the market across all of these point solutions. Customers have choice, and that's causing right now some market inertia, confusion, and complexity for clients as they really decide on the best technologies and architectures to move forward into a full hybrid cloud environments. Now, what becomes interesting, I would argue, is when you look at the VMware choices in each of these areas, when you look at the point solutions, you could argue that there's other compelling point solutions out there. That said, when you look at the full VMware story today, I think the choice becomes clear for clients for a few reasons. First of all, when you look at cloud infrastructure management today, VMware, with its acquisition of Dynamic Ops, which is now their vCake or VCAC solution, VMware is now a clear market leader in terms of cloud infrastructure management. Also, for CIOs and their staffs making important technology decisions today, when those staffs look at the market, if they believe that this concept of a software-defined data center that's abstracted and mobile across their private cloud architectures and mobile out to the public cloud, if they believe software-defined data center is important, that really works in VMware's favor. Because when you look at it right now, it seems pretty clear that the company that's going to be first to market in software-defined data centers is going to be VMware. They've got the IP stacks, they're pulling them together, and they've got a clear plan to deliver software-defined data center technologies to the market soon. And I think the other players that plan on competing with them in this space today are trying to pull together the needed IP and the strategies to deliver against this vision. So we believe VMware will be first to market in software-defined data center. Now, if you believe that, the choices on cloud infrastructure management and your hybrid cloud platforms or your public cloud platforms become very interesting, because when you look at VMware's VCHS platform, which many would argue, and I would agree, was a bit late to market, but it's there and real today and generally available. VMware platforms or VMware-enabled platforms now work seamlessly and port seamlessly across from private cloud to the public cloud. The investment in technologies move seamlessly across both environments, and that is an extremely compelling story in terms of efficiencies and really the opportunity. I think right now, I would argue that the fastest way for customers to deliver a hybrid cloud environment and benefit from the existing investments they've made in virtualization technology is on the VMware platform.